Heartbreaking news about Rick Harisson has left fans in absolute shock. The beloved leader of Pawn Stars, who built a legacy from the grit of Las Vegas to the bright lights of cable television, is now facing a deeply personal tragedy that cuts far deeper than any financial dispute or on-screen drama. For years, audiences have come to know and love Rick as the witty, knowledgeable, and sharp-minded co-founder of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, a man who could just as easily negotiate the value of a Civil War musket as he could share a humorous anecdote from his past. But this time, it's not about a rare artifact, a TV deal, or the booming pawn industry. This time, the loss touches the very core of Rick's personal world, reminding fans that even television personalities with legions of followers are not immune to the pains that life inevitably delivers. Since 2009, Pawn Stars on the History Channel has done more than entertain. It's become a cultural staple. It blends negotiation, entertainment, and education seamlessly, presenting history through the lens of everyday items brought into a Las Vegas pawn shop. Rick Harisson, as the show's focal point, has become a symbol of that success, dedicating decades of his life to growing the family business and turning it into an empire. But beneath the surface of fame and financial success lie personal battles that fans rarely see, and recent developments have left many wondering just how much one man can endure. Richard Kevin Harisson, known to millions simply as Rick, was born on March 22, 1965, to Richard Benjamin Harisson and Joanne Rue Harisson. The Harisson family had 4 children, Sherry, Joseph, Rick, and Chris, with Rick being the third. His early years were shadowed by heartbreak when he lost his sister, Sherry Joanne Harisson. Born with Down syndrome, Sherry passed away at the tender age of 6, leaving a void in the Harisson household that would never truly be filled. Rick's father, a stoic and disciplined man, served in the U.S. Navy, and in 1967, when Rick was just 2 years old, the family moved to San Diego, California, after his father was transferred. But young Rick was not destined for an easy childhood. At the age of 8, he began experiencing epileptic seizures, a condition that would shape much of his early development. Confined to bed for long stretches, Rick found solace in reading. This period ignited his lifelong passion for books, especially those of historical nature. He became enamored with the series The Great Brain by John D. Fitzgerald, which followed. A clever 10-year-old named Tom Fitzgerald, someone who reminded Rick of the kind of ingenuity he admired and aspired to. History and physics became his favorite subjects, particularly naval history from the late 18th to early 19th century, foreshadowing the deep knowledge he would later display on national television. Rick attended Taft Middle School in San Diego, but dropped out in 10th grade, lured by the chance to make money selling fake Gucci bags for $20 each. The lure of business and profit took precedence over traditional education, a decision that would both challenge and ultimately define him. In April 1981, the Harrisons moved to Las Vegas after their real estate business collapsed. It was there, amid the casinos and neon lights, that Rick's life would take a sharp turn toward the pawnbroking industry. At 17, Rick faced one of the most pivotal and heartbreaking moments of his young life. His teenage girlfriend Kim became pregnant. Despite their youth, Rick chose to embrace fatherhood. Sadly, their first child was lost to miscarriage. Determined to move forward, the couple married in 1982 and welcomed their first son, Corey, on April 27, 1983. Corey would go on to become a central figure in Rick's business and a staple on Pawn Stars. 2 years later, Kim gave birth to their second son, Adam, but the strain on their marriage proved too much, and by 1985, Rick and Kim had separated. Rick wouldn't remain single for long. Just 9 months after the divorce, he met Tracy. Their relationship moved quickly. They dated for 8 months before tying the knot in 1986. Tracy stepped into the role of mother to Corey and Adam, helping Rick raise his boys while he juggled the demands of building a business from scratch. That same year, Rick joined his father in a modest 300-square-foot second-hand gold and silver coin shop on Las Vegas Boulevard South. While Rick handled historical evaluations and customer interactions by day, he repossessed cars at night to make ends meet. The shop would undergo several changes over the next few years, moving to a larger location on Fremont Street in 1986 before being forced to relocate again after losing their lease. Rick and his father long had a vision to transform their coin shop into a pawn shop which offered greater financial flexibility and inventory diversity. However, a 1955 Las Vegas ordinance had limited pawn licenses based on population. The Harrisons had to wait until the city reached 250,000 residents to even apply. After battling bureaucracy and legal red tape, they were finally granted a license in 1989. That same year, the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop officially opened at 713 Las Vegas Boulevard South. Rick's historical knowledge became a vital asset as he could authenticate and provide context for various rare items. While they initially focused on unique sports memorabilia and historical pieces, the demand for jewelry eventually became their bread and butter. Business boomed. By 2005, the shop was lending millions of dollars each year, earning hundreds of thousands in interest alone. Their reputation grew beyond Las Vegas, attracting high rollers and desperate gamblers alike. Some came pawning Super Bowl rings, others brought items with heartbreaking stories attached. One memorable piece was a 2001 Super Bowl ring belonging to football player Brock Williams. The shop's rising fame caught the eye of television producers Brent Montgomery and Colby Gaines of Left Field Pictures during a 2008 trip to Las Vegas. They were intrigued by the city's eclectic pawn shops and believed one of them could serve as the backdrop for a reality series. After searching for the perfect fit, they landed on the Harisson family's shop, just 2 miles from the Strip. It had already been the subject of a PBS documentary in 2001 and even made a cameo on Insomniac with Dave Attell in 2003. Rick, who had long hoped for a TV show, finally got his chance. The original pilot, titled Pawning History, was pitched to HBO but eventually reworked and picked up by the History Channel, emerging with the more catchy name Pawn Stars, a tongue-in-cheek nod to the adult industry that ensured people would take notice. The show premiered in July 2009 and was an instant hit. Fans loved the mix of quirky customers, fascinating historical items, and the dynamic between Rick, his father, the old man, his son Corey, and Corey's best friend Chum Lee. Behind the scenes, the shop would close to the public during filming, and only pre-approved customers were allowed in, ensuring each interaction was camera-ready. The Harisson family became household names. By 2011, Pawn Stars was the History Channel's highest-rated show and the second most popular reality series on cable after Jersey Shore. Rick leveraged this fame to further elevate his brand. He published a best-selling book, Licensed to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver, which climbed to number 22 on the New York Times bestseller list. That same year, he divorced his second wife, Tracy. The following year, Rick announced his engagement to Deanna Burdett. After another divorce, the couple married in a picturesque ceremony in Laguna Beach, California, and Rick gained 3 stepdaughters, Serena, Kiona, and Marissa, through the union. His public persona remained strong. He made guest appearances on shows like iCarly and The Middle, always playing some version of himself. He even became a spokesman for MicroTouch One, a men's shaving razor, in 2014, and appeared in commercials to promote the product. Later that year, the History Channel launched United Stuff of America, a series highlighting historically significant artifacts. In July 2014, Pawnography, a quiz-style game show, debuted featuring Rick, Corey, and Chum Lee facing off against contestants for shop inventory. Despite the professional high, tragedy was never far behind. In June 2018, Rick lost his father, Richard Benjamin, the old man Harisson, to complications from Parkinson's disease. It was a profound blow. The elder Harisson had been more than just a co-star. He was Rick's mentor, his moral compass, and the stoic patriarch of the family and the show. Rick announced the passing to over 245,000 followers on Instagram, describing it as a heartbreaking moment. The History Channel issued a heartfelt tribute, honoring the wisdom, wit, and no-nonsense demeanor that the old man had become famous for. Rick, now the head of the family and the sole face of the shop's legacy, bore the weight of expectation and responsibility not only from his family but from fans around the world. While many assumed pawn shops would thrive during such economic uncertainty, the reality was far more complicated. Initially, there was a surge in customers seeking quick loans, but as the pandemic dragged on, the shop faced dwindling foot traffic, increased safety restrictions, and interruptions to the global supply chain that made even evaluating items difficult. Rick and his team were forced to adapt quickly, but the challenges were immense. Television production halted, tourism vanished. From Las Vegas, and for the first time in years, the future of the gold and silver pawnshop felt uncertain. Rick Harisson, the man who once said, "The business is my life," now found himself navigating one of the most difficult chapters of both his personal and professional journey. And yet, through all the pain, Rick remained committed to preserving what he and his father had built. Fans continued to flock to the shop when restrictions lifted. Episodes of Pawn Stars remained syndicated and streaming, introducing new generations to the world of antique coins, Civil War relics, and the unpredictability of the human condition. But the most recent tragedy, one not disclosed in detail, to the public, has pierced Rick's heart in ways no business challenge ever could. He is grieving, facing a loss that speaks to the deeply personal rather than the publicly known. It's a sobering reminder that behind every familiar face on television is a real person with real struggles, triumphs, and losses. For Rick Harisson, the weight of his past and the uncertainty of the future now walk hand in hand. But if there's one thing his journey has taught fans, it's this: Rick may be down, but he's never out. Even though Rick Harisson has faced the storm of public attention and business demands, the pain of losing his son Adam is something that cuts far deeper than any challenge the pawn business or television fame could have ever brought. For Rick, the heartbreak didn't come from cameras rolling or from controversy. It came from a real, raw, deeply human place that no amount of experience or resilience can shield someone from. Adam was Rick's second child, born in 1984 during Rick's early years of trying to establish a stable life and career. While Adam never appeared on Pawn Stars, unlike his older brother Corey, he was very much part of the Harisson family story. Rick has said that Adam always had a bright spirit, someone who had potential and who for a time tried to lead a normal life despite battling personal demons. But the grip of addiction is often cruel and relentless. Adam's struggles with substance abuse weren't unknown to Rick. He had tried to help his son for years. He admitted in interviews that the family had gone through countless attempts at rehab and interventions. Each time Adam relapsed, the heartbreak only grew deeper. Rick described the agony of watching someone he loved fall into a dangerous spiral, and how addiction doesn't just take over the person suffering, it slowly starts to fracture the family around them too. What devastated Rick even more was the knowledge that Adam died of a fentanyl overdose, a powerful synthetic opioid that has taken countless lives across the United States. Rick, like many parents of children who have succumbed to this drug, didn't just lose a son. He lost a future he always hoped could still be repaired. He's been vocal about the impact fentanyl is having across the country and has joined others in raising awareness of how easily this drug can kill, even in the smallest doses. He said that fentanyl is not like other drugs. It's a poison that's being mixed with so many substances that users often have no idea they're ingesting it. And that's what he believes happened to Adam. For Rick, this wasn't just a personal loss. It became a rallying cry. In the days following Adam's death, Rick released a statement to the press expressing his grief and anger. "Yes, my son Adam died from a fentanyl overdose," he said. "The fentanyl crisis in this country must be taken more seriously. It's not just affecting the homeless or the criminal, it's affecting regular families, sons, daughters, brothers, and sisters. It destroyed mine." Despite his own heartbreak, Rick continued running the gold and silver pawn shop, but he did so with a heavier heart. Visitors who came by in the months following Adam's death described Rick as warm and welcoming as always, but quieter, more reflective. He wasn't just a businessman anymore. He was a grieving father trying to navigate a world that suddenly felt more fragile, and though Rick is a seasoned figure in the world of reality TV and historical negotiations, no deal, no appraisal, no rare artifact could give him back what he had lost.